When there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddy Gate coverage. I am Andy Signore, back with It's Kim. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Another day. More Diddy.
I know. Kudos to you who've been on it like crazy. She's prepared the notes for us today. I had some other stuff I had to do, so very grateful for all the hard work and some intense stuff. I was in and out some of the updates today. This is day 6, guys. Beginning of a week 2, so day 6. Don Richard from Danity Kane was there, as well as Cassie's former ex-best friend, Carrie Morgan. And then at the very end, we had David James, Diddy's assistant, taking the stand. Got a little juicy there, and it looks like it could get even juicier tomorrow as we wait for more details. So that's what we'll be going through. If you're just tuning in, this is going to be our hour-long-ish recap, maybe shorter, of today's day. We're here every day of the week, going after the Diddy trial, giving you updates. We're also now available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all the podcast places, Kim. Thanks people who've discovered and been watching. You can now listen audio only over there. The episodes usually get up by the next morning or evening, depending on how it uploads. Sorry, out of our hands, but check the next day. It should be up there. But let's get into it, Kim. Overall, what was your overall takeaway on day 6 today?
Overall, I think today had some hard testimony. There were parts of it, I think, that were very emotional. They were at points very graphic. So let this be my trigger warning to everybody. There's going to be a discussion of depictions of A, as we call it, and at points it does get quite disturbing. So that was tough, but separate from that, I think we did get a lot of good details. I think that the testimony from this assistant is going to continue to be very interesting going into tomorrow. And it was good also to hear from Don Richard from Dandy Kane, as well as Diddy Dirty Money. And so we need to get into it. There's lots to go through.
Let's do it. So over the past week, Sean Combs' 3 sons were a constant presence in court, sitting in the second row behind their father alongside their grandmother, Janice, Combs' mother. Monday morning, though, that row was uncharacteristically sparse, with Combs' children and mom appearing to be absent. What do you think that means? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean negative, but it's pretty obvious there. This is their time to see him, serious stuff, but they're getting into some really gross stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
I did find that to be quite interesting as part of why I wanted to put it there, because it's very strange. I had expected that there would at least be one family member representing, right? I don't expect all of them to be there for every single day over the next 8 weeks. That's a lot. But to have no one there when they've been so present and public of their support, it was a bit shocking. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Maybe it was just there was other stuff going on and they couldn't. I don't know, but it was notable.
Yeah, notable indeed. And thanks to BJ, that surprise witness just sent over a bunch of people. She's so
welcome
amazing.
Everyone.
We love BJ as she just wrapped up. Oh, now it's showing us over there. That's weird. But thanks to BJ. Go make sure you support her as well. She's the best, and she's been doing recap days. There she is. Trying to make sure I plugged her properly. When plugging each other, make sure you're watching your replays over there. Support her fully. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in from BJ's stream. You guys are the best. Hope you guys had a good day watching her. It's a lot, but let's get through the updates, art perspectives. Tell us if you're from BJ in the chat as you're coming in. So yes, Dawn Richard came back. She was a member of Danity Kane, girl group Diddy formed through making the band. She was also part of Diddy Dirty Money, in which she was bandmates with Diddy. Friday, she had previously testified that she was going to go to Diddy's house to record some music when she witnessed him, Cassie. Cassie was cooking breakfast when Combs allegedly came downstairs. Where the F were his eggs? Richard testified. She saw Diddy grab the skillet and move to Cassie with it. Cassie fell to the ground, curled into a fetal position, and then Diddy started to, I'm just going to keep snapping, I guess. The following day, Diddy invited Dawn and others back to his recording studio and explained to her that what happened with Ventura in the kitchen the day before was what people in relationships do, Kim. That's just what we do. We yell about where the F of our eggs, using skillets. You know, Kim, what do you think? Is that what typical relationships do?
Well, it's like, the thing is, I feel like hearing that, I think, really does paint a picture of why people were so afraid of him. because he totally knows what he's doing is not okay. But he has to instill this idea that it's fine and it's going to be fine because this is just the way that it is. This is just what we do. It's so manipulative. It's so sinister. I think it is the best word that I can think of for that. I can't imagine how uncomfortable that was and how terrifying.
Yikes. So after that, Dawn said that after the skillet incident, Diddy threatened her. He said, "You could go missing, that we could die," she told jurors. "I was shocked, but also scared. Couldn't believe this would be the beginning of a journey for us with the group Dirty Money." She said she regularly witnessed Combs' Cassie because Cassie was speaking up for herself. It could be random. It could be if she had an opinion for herself, she would be quiet. And when she had these moments of trying to stick up for herself, he would hurt her for it. Dawn also shared that she feared retaliation for intervening in the relationship, but did try to show solidarity to Cassie by wearing sunglasses when she did to cover up injuries. She also had Dawn and Diddy had a dealer named One Stop who delivered many substances to the studio. Diddy kept a Louis Vuitton pouch filled with substances. She also said she saw arms a few times and that Combs' bodyguards had them, and they had them in their lower back. So copping up to a lot of the sort of same charges we've had. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of it I found to be very confirming to Cassie's testimony. Now, her cross-examination was a bit interesting. There's a few points here that I could see why people would think the defense did a very good job. But I think it's worth reading it all the way through to get a better idea of kind of what this all looked like. It definitely, the defense tried to poke holes in Dawn's account of the skillet incident. In a letter sent to Diddy, the defense said that Dawn alleged that she had heard a pan hit the wall, but didn't see it. And she told the jury on Friday that she did see Diddy use the skillet on Cassie, for lack of a better way of putting it. When questioned, Dawn said, "I said it the best that I could recall." So there was an inconsistency there. The defense asked why Dawn didn't tell the feds about the arms. Dawn responded that she wasn't asked. And in another instance of inconsistent testimony, Dawn had claimed that her lawyer had misquoted her when she had told investigators that she hadn't seen Diddy use a white powdery substance, but testified today that he did. Now, one thing I thought was interesting, though, is she did testify that she saw Diddy bring a pew-pew into a club. So that has now been brought in, which if you guys have been following this for a while, you know why that's relevant as we go back to the Club New York incident. So I thought that was something.
Specifically, the video this morning with J-Lo, once again, more relevance coming in that these women were carrying arms into these clubs. Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to bring that up. It wasn't something that I was seeing being reported everywhere, but I thought it was relevant. So
questions about, she said she testified she saw him using all these substances. Kept them all in there, and then he'd carry in the studio, went to the club. She finally, it's wild, man. So confirming a lot of stuff. Saw him keep it in his person. He'd carry it in studio. Well, he's not having anyone else in that instance carrying it for her, but as Natanya showed, that was, I guess, common in the culture. So then defense asked Dawn if she had changed her story about previously saying she hadn't seen him with there. Yes, as time progresses, I get better at knowing what went on because it was quite a long time ago. Some will try to jump on that. I'm sure they are in the cross. They always try to do this, but I don't know, man. That's all you got? It's the best you got? Well, you forgot once which substance it was. They're really grasping at straws, no?
It does feel a little bit like that. I think this is one of these things you can take it either way, because quite bluntly, I think what Dawn experienced, if you read her civil lawsuit, if you get an idea of kind of what she went through, what she saw, she absolutely experienced trauma working under Diddy. And what does the brain do when it experiences trauma? In some cases, there is repression. In some cases, it's, you don't make connections about certain things until later. There is some legitimacy to what she is saying here, but it definitely doesn't look, like the greatest thing for her and her credibility. However, I wouldn't be surprised if there is conversation about trauma and the effects on the brain as we go through this trial. That may be something that they address then. But for now, this is where we are with Dawn. And it continued. There were a few other criticisms of her that Dawn confirmed that she was asked to, she asked Diddy to sign her as a solo artist in 2011, which would have been at the end of her time with Diddy Dirty Money, and Diddy denied her. She also said she was asked to work with Combs that she asked to work with Combs as recently as 2020 or 2021. So it's interesting that it's like she didn't want to work with him, but she was willing and asking to go back. And she does explain that in a little bit more detail as we keep going. So the defense asked Dawn to admit that she filed the lawsuit, her civil lawsuit against Combs, to get a lot of money. And Dawn said no, but she wants to be compensated for the work that she put forth. Can't argue that.
No.
So the redirect then happened, and Dawn explained why her accounts over time may have missed some details. She said, every day it gets easier to remember certain things. I try my best to do it to the best of my ability. She also explained that when she reached out to Diddy after leaving Bad Boy, it was to rekindle a relationship with choreographer Lori-Ann Gibson, who Dawn said had advised her to reach out to Combs first. And as for Dawn reaching out to Combs to reunite Diddy Dirty Money, she said she did so to help a friend, which was the former bandmate Kalenna Harper, who Richard suggested was having a hard time. Now, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about her too as time goes on.
Yeah, well, Emily, I was watching her stories today, and she brought this up. I don't know if you saw this, but yeah. Kalenna had made a public statement in September 2024, basically denying all of Dawn's sort of stuff, the lawsuit, saying it wasn't true, and put this all out there. I acknowledged which my name was mentioned 33 times, let off in the stories post. While I fully respect Dawn's right to recount her experience, I want to emphasize her account reflects her personal perspective and should not be interpreted as a universal truth applicable to everyone involved. So she denied claims that she made, but then what was interesting, as the Fed stepped in, Kim, filings from the Feds showed that it seems Kalenna's statement was just a PR stunt orchestrated and funded by Diddy. Outlet reports that Combs contacted Harper, increased the days between Dawn's lawsuit and Kalenna making her statements. Officials stated that Harper and Combs allegedly made 128 calls during this period. The authorities claim that between the note found in Diddy's cell and the phone calls to Harper, they believe Sean Combs paid Kalenna for her public statement to discredit Dawn Richard, which is insane, but not surprising at all, right, Kim?
Yep, and it actually goes deeper than that. I actually just sent you a quick link just to a Vibe article just to confirm its existence. Kalenna did a really uncomfortable interview last year. It was long, and there was she said a lot of not nice things about people involved in the situation. I found she was very almost infantilizing when it came to Cassie at points. And I remember there being a lot of dialogue at that time of like, oh, someone got paid. Someone got paid to sit down and do this. I can't say that as a fact, but it is very interesting to hear the two perspectives. I did not find her to be very credible. I was nowhere near the only one who felt that way. And that's how I'll say it nicely.
Yes, about Kalenna.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it seems the Feds did a good job at figuring out, okay, but that's just crazy. So these women, that's again, it's important to put out there as we continue before we get to the next witness. These women just come forward and everybody's just out there say lying, blah, blah, blah. It's like immediately to discredit. We're seeing more and more, though, that's confirming Diddy was a monster. I mean, even that guy, the guy who was at the Trump Club, what's his name? Jonathan Oddie, was out there screaming from I was Diddy's ex-slave. Of course, everyone was like, sure, buddy. And now look what's happening. Cassie's on the stand confirming it. It's just wild, the world that really was happening, that a lot of people sort of want to try to play like it wasn't. All right, so then she stepped down. That was the end of Dawn, and then Carrie came in?
Yes, Carrie Morgan, who was Cassie's former best friend. This one was tough. This one was a tough one to hear. She made it very clear as soon as she got on that stand that the only reason that she was there was because she got subpoenaed. She did not want to be here at all. And I will say, I think she seemed to say things very matter of fact. There were definitely moments where there was a little bit of what I would call sass, which I didn't think was a bad thing. I think she represented herself very well. And I felt as I read what was being said, she seems like a very credible witness. I think this is going to be one that may stick out in the jury's mind because she was subpoenaed to be here. She is speaking in defense of Cassie, but at the same time, she was also very hurt by Cassie.
Yeah.
And the way that it all came out was very honest. So it's definitely an interesting one to go through.
Yeah, I mean, she's giving perspective that it feels more like I don't give a crap about any of these people, so I'm going to give it to you straight. I've moved on from all this, but let's go do it, and not really throwing Cassie under the bus anyway, but
No.
clearly doing it more honestly. So so she made it clear she was only there because of the subpoena, and she confirmed that she and Cassie, who met on a modeling shoot as teenagers, no longer speak because Ventura's boyfriend ate her. Now, was this Agnifilo the Costco lawyer did end up doing this or not?
Yes, Mark Agnifilo, or as we lovingly call him, the Costco lawyer.
Because it's just funny, because there's this buildup of he's finally going to do something during this trial. It was our first chance to see Costco lawyer step up to the stand, Kim, right? So as we go through, let's see how he does, yeah?
Yeah. It was fascinating.
Because for what I was watching with BJ, he started off by getting the amount of years they were friends wrong, didn't he?
I can't even remember, but it just...
From what I recall, he sort of got the time. There was a window of friendship time, and Costco lawyer got that wrong. This right up the gate. He's doesn't even have his facts straight. So good job, Costco lawyer.
Yeah. So essentially, the bulk of Carrie's testimony is that she witnessed Cassie being hurt by Diddy on multiple occasions, and she wanted to make it clear that he was not intoxicated or appeared to be on substances these times, because something that we've kind of started to see from the defense is it's almost like they're trying to do this thing that, well, he was so out of his mind, he had no idea what he was doing, so therefore he's not guilty. And she wanted to make it very clear he knew, and there was no excuse for it. So she said, I saw
impartial witness mad at everybody coming in, making it clear. No. Yes. Nice try, buddy.
Yes. So I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her, Carrie said. And this was one instance, I believe, in Los Angeles. She had asked for one of the security guards to intervene, but that security guard responded that he would not. So they were complicit to this. I don't know.
I just pictured Diddy as the guy from The Room. I did not hit her. I tell you. Okay, Mark.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Did not. Okay, Mark. Anyway,
that's actually it's Mark Agnifilo. So
it's Mark. It's it is even weirder because I did not hit a Mark. Yikes. I know it's not funny, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to find humor in the worst spot, so we can at least stay light and positive. The world is too intense right now.
We have the odd moment. Yeah.
Oh my God. And of course I'm queuing it up, Kim.
Oh gosh, yep. Well, I'll keep going through the notes while you get that beautiful moment of cinema. Okay.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. I did not hit her. It's not.
Somebody please make the Diddy version of that. Somebody please can we use AI to turn him into Diddy?
True. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
His Costco lawyer. Oh, hi. Please. Oh, hi, Mark Agnifilo. I can't say it, but the funny story about this is that's all fake. Laughing. They spent so much money making a fake rooftop scene. Oh, the making of The Room is hilarious. All right, back to the point.
I'm glad we had that laugh because it's not funny moving forward.
It's not funny.
At all.
It is not funny, but that was funny. All right, moving on. Here we go. We get into it.
Oh my gosh.
And if you don't like that, you can dip out. We like to have a little bit of lighten the mood when we can. Back to the serious topics, segueing into, it's hard to do, but segueing into, yes, this was, he did. So Carrie was witnessing of Cassie by Diddy, and he was sober, right? That's a very key point that we need to reiterate and make sure that that's there, so they can't keep using that as an excuse of, well, he was looped out, Kim, on substances, and he didn't know what he was doing. That's literally an argument he's trying to make. So I'm glad this woman, whatever her feelings are on this couple, is at least coming forward with the facts to say, no, not on my watch.
So she did describe Diddy as being occasionally nice, but also moody and aggressive. And she noted that he would often call her trying to find Cassie, but sometimes 50 times in a row, just nonstop. And then she talked about this incident in Jamaica. Now, I hadn't heard about this incident in Jamaica. I don't know if that's a lapse in my own knowledge, but it was quite... Apparently, Diddy got upset that Cassie was taking too much time in the bathroom. Now, this is important because something that the defense is trying to really cue up here is that all of their fights had to do with jealousy, that all of their fights had to do with cheating, other people, etc. He got mad because she took too long in the bathroom. So that excuse falls flat. So 2 minutes later, she said she heard screaming, and she saw Diddy drag Cassie on the floor 10 feet. Now, at that point, Morgan grabbed her purse. Carrie grabbed her purse in case they needed to run. And when she came back, Combs was outside with Cassie, and she said, and I quote, "I saw him push her on the ground, and she hit her head on a brick. She didn't move." So Cassie was laying in a loose fetal position, and her eyes were closed. Carrie said she thought she was knocked out. She testified that it appeared that Cassie was completely out of, not here for 20 to 30 seconds. And the two women fled the scene on a golf cart, and then they crouched in a ditch for what felt like hours as they hid from Combs. And she described the screams from the incident as guttural and terrifying. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So again, this is an instance where there was horrific did not have to do with jealousy. It happened because she took too long in the bathroom. That was her crime.
Carrie saw Cassie also after the Intercontinental Incident, the hotel video. When she returned home, she could see she was injured. About half hour after Carrie's arrival, Carrie said Combs began banging on the front door with a hammer at her house with a hammer. Ventura appeared numb. I don't think she cared if he came in and K'd her, unalived her, Morgan said. Yikes. So after that event, when, we were having a misunderstanding and she, whatever his excuses are, which are not excuse, there's no excuse. He followed her home with a hammer. Let's just reiterate that again, and knocked on her door, according to this witness, multiple times. And she was then numb at this point, sort of giving up with it all. Ugh, brutal. But she asked for it, Kim. She could have left.
Why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave?
I saw the dude on Suge Knight's lawyer was on Piers Morgan. Oh my God, was that depressing? This guy, he's a black, Diddy's a black guy getting railroaded was his other excuse. And then, this girl, why she was doing all this stuff and he's on ketamine and he can have all this, it was really tough to listen to this guy. But there are still a lot of people out there trying to defend this. Anyway, yuck, let's keep moving on. So
the
after
next
that,
thing, the jury then saw messages. Now this is important, between Carrie and Christina Coram, or KK. So this has been the right-hand person of Diddy we've been hearing about. And Carrie texted her. So when people say we're not hearing about any of these co-conspirators, yes, we are. Here is an example. Carrie sent KK a photo of a detective's business card because the police did show up at the apartment. It is unclear who called the police, but we believe it was because of the noise, I think, if I'm remembering this correctly. So the detective gave a business card to Cassie. She did not give up her ID, and she didn't identify that Diddy was the one who did this to her. But Cassie asked Carrie to take a picture of this and send it to KK. I don't know if it was as a warning. And the messages were read aloud in court saying, Cass asked me to send you that.
So Carrie sent it to KK on behalf of Cassie saying,
yes,
Cass asked me to send you that, which was, a nice little warning of be careful. Detectives are now questioning me about these things. So lighten up or else.
Yeah.
Is how I take that.
Yeah. And then we moved into when Carrie herself was hurt by Diddy. And this was a very important moment in this relationship. Cassie was in the bathroom. And he came up behind her, Carrie, and cut off her ability to breathe. I don't know if we have trigger words with this that I can't say that.
Darth Vader.
And Vader. Yeah, great. That's that. Oh gosh. And left finger marks on her neck, and then struck her in the head with a wooden hanger right behind her ear. She added that Diddy was talking about Cassie cheating on him as she grabbed her things and left. Now, she went right to urgent care because she was dizzy and she was vomiting. She hired a lawyer. She didn't file a lawsuit. Morgan said that instead she was paid $30,000 from Combs and that she signed an NDA. Now, Cassie said she paid some of that money, but to Carrie Morgan's recollection, the money came from Combs. So
Cassie said she paid some of it too?
Some of it, yes, I believe.
Interesting. That's not a good sign for Cassie.
You know what? I kind of get it, but stay with me. So she said the $30,000 was paid to her to sign an NDA, and she said we haven't spoken since. The last time I spoke with Sean was the night that it happened, and the last time I saw Cassie was when I signed the NDA. And Carrie said that Cassie told her that she couldn't leave Diddy because he controlled everything because of her job.
This is key. Yeah. This is RICO racketeering at its highest degree. No, she has nowhere to go. Everything she has is now roped up with this guy who's controlling and A-ing her. So that's where's the RICO? Where's the RICO? They're starting to get there, Kim.
Yeah. So because of her job, her car, her apartment, he controlled everything. She would have lost all of her livelihood. And with that, Mark Agnifilo came up to do the cross-examination. And
right. Sorry, I got it wrong. Yes. No. So now Costco lawyer's up, and from what I was told, for at least the BJ recap, he got the time of the friendship wrong immediately. That's how he started things. So let's see if he did any better. Here we go.
So Carrie testified after being asked that Cassie was indeed jealous of Kim Porter. Are we all in shock?
Not to interrupt you, but this is key too, because it just shows she's more human. Like, yes, Cassie is not perfect. All the things we've heard, I like that this witness is admitting some of that, right? Because it makes her more credible in my eyes. No? Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I think it's good to hear the human elements of Cassie. I think this is truly where we hear the expression that there's no such thing as a perfect victim.
Right.
But Cassie was truly in a situation where she couldn't leave. She couldn't win. She was stuck. She was absolutely stuck. So there was this discussion about whether or not, again, Diddy's team trying to bring up this jealousy aspect of it, of like, oh, was Cassie jealous of Kim? And she said, yeah, she was jealous because she could never go to the New Year's Eve parties. And it was stuff like she couldn't be seen with the family, right? And that bothered her a lot. And I understand that. Carrie also said that Diddy was jealous of Cassie hanging out with Michael B. Jordan.
Who wouldn't be?
Well, she explained they weren't together, but he was jealous about it. And then she said, I think she was trying to leave him. And at that point, Mia was also brought up, who we'll be hearing from at some point during the trial too. Carrie was also asked if she learned about Gina, who was another one of Diddy's girlfriends. Now, Carrie responded, he was having a full-on relationship with this little girl.
Yeah, that was a big, what does that mean? I'm going to that.
And Mark was like, what do you mean by that? Like, why are you saying that? And she just responded, well, she acted that way. She acts like that, and she's younger than us. And that was kind of a moment.
Sean came and hammered the door. Why did the police come? They said because of the noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going back in there. But
yeah, we're moving quickly through that. It was quite chaotic. But it was very much a moment of saying little girl. I think within the context of some of the things we've heard about Diddy, that was a bit concerning verbiage to be used. But, we moved past it. Now, when she was asked why she stopped speaking to Cassie.
Oh, wait,
Carrie
sorry.
Responded,
BJ was in the chat. I want to miss that. Carrie said Cassie handed her the money, but it was Diddy's money and Diddy had 100% control. Okay, got it. Thank you for clarifying. So Cassie's money was just coming from Diddy's money. It was Diddy's money. Thank you, BJ. Okay. Bravo.
So she responded that the reason that she stopped talking to Cassie after all these years of friendship was because she was not supportive of me after that incident. I draw my line at physical A. And when it came to the settlement, Carrie said, Cassie said it was through him. The money wasn't coming from her and she was the go-between. I did not demand the money from anyone. She offered me the money to close the case, so I didn't sue anyone or say anything public about it. All I got was $30,000. And it appears that Carrie felt that this settlement was a betrayal. So she wasn't happy about it, but she wanted that support from Cassie as a friend that this was wrong, and she didn't feel like she had it, and that's what ended the friendship.
Yeah, and it's once again showing more of what Cassie's lost and what she's been through. Is all these friends of hers are also shrapnel in this relationship. It's horrifying.
Yeah. And then I wanted to make this note because I still don't know why, and I have looked at every source I can get. Agnifilo brought up a self-help author about self-affirmation and sending words of encouragement.
I don't remember sending it. Okay. I'm going to show you a few more photos, but here, let's talk about the incident.
And then we just completely moved on.
It
made no sense. I have no idea why it was said. I don't know what the context was. I have no further information, and and nobody talked about it. So I'm hoping when the transcripts come out, like we'll get a bit more clarification, but for some reason this poor person got mentioned and I don't know why.
It's crazy because again, Costco lawyer finally up there. I want to show you. Let's talk about the incident where he puts his Darth Vader's you. Were you and Cassie using any substances? No. What did he say? He said, "Who was she cheating with?" So again, you're never supposed to ask a question you don't know the answer to, Kim. Right? That's the problem here. And so he's already like both nothing. You went to urgent care and not the hospital, right? But you don't. But don't the prosecutors? But you told the prosecutors it was bloody and you went to the hospital. I don't remember. Really? We're arguing over the semantics
How
of
dare
you went to urgent care versus the hospital?
And not the hospital. Bluntly
and
put,
urgent care can treat bloody people. They got a lot to go on there.
All I can imagine if I was in that situation, I think I'd grab my phone and I would call like a Lyft and I'd be like, where is the closest medical place that can look at me? And for all you know, it was urgent care and that's where she went. Like,
that was it. And then he's done.
Yep.
I see that I said that. Okay. Now. And then back to cross.
No,
that was it.
Cares. Nobody cares.
Oh, this is just wild how you go through it and just like, no, nothing. I'm skimming through all these. It's like, jeez. So then, all right, we get into David. No, that was it. So overall, before I get to the final person, Costco lawyer, were you impressed, Kim? After all that buildup, what do you think?
No, I want to know why he brought up the self-help author. I want to know why we're talking about self-affirmation. I want to know why this person got name dropped in a massive trial.
Sarah, you're right. Diddy's lawyer would be like, so, Dawn, was the egg in the skillet scrambled or sunny side up? That does feel like a question he would have asked. Okay. Because eggs are expensive these days. I just was curious.
Yeah. Important details.
He flopped. It is true. There's a part of me that thinks that Diddy's team is trying to just do their damnedest to just take the money and then let him go. That's super unethical and illegal, of course, but I don't know, man. This is a tough one to win. BJ would come on, but she's already streamed all day. I'm not going to make her come on. She has the invite, but no pressure. She's chilling, watching her own. And everybody who's back in, some delayed people coming from BJ. Hello, welcome. We were thanking her earlier, but yes, thank you, BJ, for the redirects. Let's keep going. David James, Diddy's assistant from 2007 to 2008. BJ did ask that. Where's that, the butler, Bentley? What's his name? How come we haven't seen him in a Farnsworth? Remember Diddy's old assistant?
Oh, I don't know.
Where is he?
The court case has just gotten started.
Do you remember this guy?
Briefly?
He was Diddy's assistant for a while.
I have no idea. Okay, here's the thing.
And we haven't talked about him for a while. I need to. What happened there? Why isn't he speaking up?
That there's a good amount of witnesses, but they're being kept under seal right now because of fears of witness tampering.
Man, if he shows up, that'll be fire. All right. Well, anyway, we have the first assistant came to the stand. David James took the stand Monday. James had been named by the prosecutor's star witness Cassie as a trusted assistant who helped set up the freak-offs, which are the focus of the RICO charges, etc. He became emotional within moments of taking the stand, as he recalled being interviewed by Vasha Wilson, the human resources for Bad Boy Worldwide. I remember sitting at her desk and there was a picture of Mr. Combs on the wall, James said. She pointed at the wall. She said, "This is Mr. Combs's kingdom. We're all here to serve it." Now, I don't know about you, Kim, but that's RICO to me. It's about as RICO as it gets, no?
It feels very cult.
We are all here to serve his kingdom. Literally, he's the king. We are his servants.
Yeah.
Not a good thing for Diddy. First one out the gate. That is the assistant's coming out there. So bravo to this guy calling it out. Let's see. He keeps going, saying, Diddy explained that he would work 20 hours a day, the same as Diddy's security. He was with Combs every day. He was working and traveled around the world with him. And it was his job to make sure Combs was able to operate as a chairman of a company and to get every environment comfortable for the freak-offs. Yikes. David said he sometimes worked 3 weeks straight without a day off. As Combs hired more personal staff, he could work 5-day weeks. James said he would arrive at Combs' house before he woke up and coordinate with the chef to make sure breakfast was getting started. Jesus. He would compile documents for Combs, including business decisions he needed to approve, his daily schedule, and news stories about Combs. So he's Googling himself every day. Business decisions he needed to approve, daily schedule, and news stories. He'd eat breakfast. They would go to the studio and then back to Combs' house or another destination, he testified. He would then, he had a relatively unique rider where he would stay at hotels. A rider is a list of stipulations like, I only want the green M&Ms. That's what a rider is. He would prepare riders for his hotels, as well as green rooms, music venues. I wonder if they had baby oil at every green room. He didn't elaborate on what was in the riders, but it's fair to say the government will return to that. David said that he knew not to mess with security and to listen to them. They also told him to stay in his lane. David said he overheard a conversation with Diddy where he said, Kim is my queen. Out in LA with my family, he said, I have Cassie right where I want her. She's young and moldable. Yikes. And that's when the jury was released. I expect some fireworks tomorrow with this assistant. And again, the beginning of a lot of people coming forward, surprise witnesses, as we to BJ, that are really coming forward with some stuff. So look, this David James guy, clearly, I think we're in for some big exposés tomorrow. What do you think, Kim? Are you sensing that too?
I am. I do believe that this is someone that Cassie referenced as a trusted assistant that helped set up the FOs. So I'm guessing we're going to hear a lot more about that tomorrow. The only other thing I realized I didn't put as a note here that I should have is that when he had his interview with Diddy for the job, I believe Diddy asked him, why should I give you this job? And he responded, can't stop, won't stop. And he got the job. I can't. So, we will see how things go tomorrow. I think we're going to learn more. But it was a day of heavy testimony.
Diddy loves somebody who's like showing up for a job and just starts quoting his lyrics, and he's such an egomaniac. That's where it goes. Yikes. I wanted to end on this actually because I think today is definitely starting to prove where they're going with RICO. And I sent this over to BJ as well, but shout out to Nate, the lawyer, who I was speaking this afternoon. He tagged me, and as I saw this, I was like, damn, here is a list of the RICO charges he's charged with. Remember, they have to prove only 2 out of the 8 to get a conviction. And that would be a lifetime conviction. And you go through these, Kim, look at that. Kidnapping variations, kidnapping, arson, stay tuned, bribery, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, forced labor. We've already proven that. Trafficking, we've proven that. When I look at this list, I can't say all the words. When I look at this list, Kim, I get more and more confident that this man's going away for life. What do you think, Kim?
I think that the feds know what they're doing. And as these charges have been added under RICO, there's been a better chance that he's going to be convicted. I think they can prove 2 of these. Easy.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Over the next 8 weeks.
Easy.
Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot. Quite bluntly, I am really interested in the arson. I want to hear more about this because I believe that is the thing that's tied to Kid Cudi's car.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a moment. Explosive.
Yeah, it's so I see that, and you can go check out Nate the lawyer, watch his video as well. He breaks it down in more detail, and we'll have him back to talk. But I just see a lot of chatter out there, people, not lawyers, chattering about, well, they're going to lose. It's over. Like a lot of people jumping on this train of it's over and Diddy's going free just because of 1 week of testimony where they focused on Cassie, the star witness, who they clearly used. Now, the more I step back and look at what they're doing, they used her wisely, I think, actually now, because it set the tone for the monster that he is, right? This is a woman that he went on the record to say he didn't, ABUSC, lied about it, paid off, tried to silence for years, and then, oh, you did. The video didn't get bought. You're caught. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I was torn up. His credibility's gone. And then as you hear the more stuff that she's put out there, it does really set the tone that this man is capable of all this stuff. Now, again, dangerous. He needs to be sent away for the crimes that he did commit. I agree wholeheartedly. That's what this is supposed to be about. But when you actually look at these RICO charges that he's with, I mean, all he needs is 2. All he needs is 2, and it's a done deal for Diddy. So if I was a betting man, Kim, I'm not betting for Diddy on this, like those free Diddy people outside getting paid by. I am very fascinated by that.
That is
who
crazy.
is funding that? Who is funding that? That's a great question. We'll have to bring Emily back in, but she called this out, and I know people, it's gone more viral for her, but these people getting paid $20 an hour protesting out to free Diddy. Like they were a little aggressive the first time, but this time apparently they were just quiet. It's wild. And she did a deep dive in her Substack together, but I'm fascinated by this stuff too. There's a lot of questions I still got. And I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg here. And as BJ said in her stream earlier, I think multiple other lawsuits potentially will be on deck as well. So any other thoughts from you, Kim, overall on this today and what's to come?
I think it was a productive day. I think we learned a lot. It was tough at points, but I think it was a good day in the sense that sometimes when you listen to court cases, you have days where really nothing is accomplished. It is dry, it drags out, and you just don't really learn much. But I feel like we did learn a lot today. I think we're set up for a really interesting day tomorrow, and the feds clearly have a lot more to go through.
So in the words of Ice Cube, today was a good day. Hoo-wah.
Ooh-wah.
I got a few jokes in. It's a serious show.
We
Bear
tried.
with me.
We tried.
Day 6 of the Diddy trial is in the books. We had a longer conversation talking about Justin Bieber, Aubrey O'Day, and others. If you want to watch the full conversation, you can become a member. Go to popcornedplanet.com. It's currently our Patreon. We got to set up the new membership, Kim. I got to figure this out. Stay tuned. We'll have it soon. But sign up. Watch the replays. You can watch the full show. Make sure you also support It's Kim on YouTube. Give her a follow, give her a like, give her a tip, and make sure you've subscribed both channels, hers and mine. Hit that subscribe button, then hit the bell for alerts on YouTube. Smash the like button when you're there and leave a comment down below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, leave us a nice review or rating. It helps. You have to listen to this show. And then if you did, give us a nice rating at the end. We're on all the streaming platforms as now for audio podcasting, and we'll be here at the end of every Diddy Day trial. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.